Hey guys, today I'm gonna do a first impressions on Albedo after rolling for him, after using him a bit, after using him in the trial, playing him with different team comps. I'm gonna tell you guys what he's all about. Is he good? Should you roll for him? Should you wait? Should you skip? What team is he good in? What weapons? What artifacts? Alright, so here's what I think of him. He is what I initially thought of him as, a proper GEO support, or at least a good support, especially for Noel teams. Like running him in Noel teams makes your Noel way more comfortable to play because of his E effect. His E effect actually triggers from any kind of damage, depend whether it's players' attacks or skills, which I'm happy about because I actually thought I was scared that it was only Albedo's attacks or skills that would trigger it. But no, actually all your party members' skills or source of damage, as long as they're inside, will trigger it, which is good. Which means Noel can get it. But the thing is, when you hit enemies, you can gain energy from hitting from the trigger effect. But the thing is, it's RNG, so that's a downside to his E. But it does help with Noel's energy regen within this field, at least for Noel comps. That's the use I found for him. He's also doing quite a lot of damage with his E, even without in a GEO comp. So I think he's a pretty good GEO support for damage. His ult's pretty easy to charge, it does a decent amount of damage. And yeah, let's get on to the weapons. As for weapons, I probably would suggest anything with energy recharge, except Sacrificial Sword, because his E cooldown is 34 seconds, you don't need the effect at all. Skyrider is a good budget option. The new Festering Sword is probably your go-to option because it gives energy recharge. Skyward Atlas works as well. Sorry, not Skyward Atlas. Skyward Sword. Yeah. I think that's the 5-star sword that gives energy recharge. You could also go with Favonius Sword, and I think Favonius works really well with him. At least. Actually, all of them work very well with him. But Favonius Sword is an option as well. You do get to see how effective it is in the trial in generating his energy, because without, I think, other sources of energy, his ult might struggle to come up just from his E if you don't have any other GEO units, unless you have C1. So yeah, I think energy recharge swords are the way to go for his weapons, except Sacrificial Sword, unless you have no choice. But I would rather run a Skyrider than a Sacrificial Sword. As for artifacts, you probably want to run 2-piece Archaic Petra and 2-piece Noblesse Oblige, because that's his most damaging option, I think. As a burst support and as a damage carry, that's the best bonus he's gonna get, at least. You could run 2-piece Gladiator, I guess. And if you want to run him as a support, 4-piece Noblesse or 4-piece Petra would work, depending on what your team is. 4-piece Petra if you want to run a Petra support, I guess. So yeah, that's it for artifacts. As for things to know about Albedo, his elevator actually has like a sort of jump boost. I can show you an example. I can barely cross that if I jump it normally after elevating, but if you jump it while it's still moving up, you actually get a jump boost, like some sort of jump boost. It's very minuscule, it doesn't really make a difference. But you see, I cross that normally. This is niche, but something I found out just from experience from previous games and elevators. And momentum, I guess. His E also doesn't work in Oceanid bosses. The construct will just break, just like other GEO constructs in Oceanid boss. So MiHoYo, RIP. And apparently it does not work. Elevator does not work in water right here. Something I just found out right now. When he outs all those flower explosions he does, actually can individually crit. So that's something to keep in mind for his out damage. So crit damage will be quite useful, and crit rate. One more thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't his E supposed to be 8 seconds? Not 4? They changed it to 4. That's pretty good considering the E. I thought the E itself would not do damage, but when you place it down it does do a bit of damage. And the fact that you basically don't have to worry about getting this up 100% of the time because it lasts 30 seconds. And yeah, that's all for things to note for Albedo at least. I'm not sure about much more stuff. I do need further testing. I can't really say whether he's good in terms of the damage department, but I have heard that his E damage is going pretty well. Even though it scales with defense, I think you can build for that. As for whether you should roll for him, I think you should still wait at least a week until people have tested him out, given the final verdict, found all his optimal builds, I guess. Or for me, I'm pretty sure it's still 2-piece Noblesse and 2-piece Petra. I could be wrong. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. Albedo could be very bad in endgame because my Albedo's not raised up at all. His artifacts are scuffed as hell. And he could very well be a carry, but I think he won't be a carry until you have him at C2. And I think you don't have to worry about... You could use better swords if you have him at C1 to handle his energy regen. Other than that, just use energy recharge swords. I would roll for him if you are maining a Noel team, and if you are missing some core supports. If you don't have enough supports, if you already have enough supports, probably like 3 or 4, or if you don't play GEO, you can probably skip on him. But yeah, so far I think it's pretty good as a support. I can't say for a carry yet because obviously I'm probably not gonna I'm not gonna get C2 on Albedo. I don't have enough money for that. But I hope C2 Albedo can be somewhat interesting. I have high hopes. So that's all for the video. Hope you guys got your impressions of Albedo. I think he's good as support. If you guys need a support, yep, this is the GEO support I've been waiting for. And I'll see you guys next time.